This is going to be a very long recording, but I don't need that to worry you because you can do this over the course of many days. Maybe it's 1 page a day, maybe it's 2 pages a day. That is up to you. But I'm going to take you through this math packet, and I would like you to feel as comfortable as possible while you're going through it. But the first thing I do is always the same. I pick up my pencil and I write my name. So if I were you, I would write my name on my paper, and you should write your name on your paper. The first page of this packet says equal groups multiplication. Okay, looks like we've got 9 boxes with some questions that they want us to answer. Let's do a few of them together. It says Becca collected 6 boxes of seashells. She put 7 seashells in each box. Which of these shows how many seashells Becca has collected? Is that 6 times 7, 6 plus 7, 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7? She has 6 boxes. Sometimes it's helpful to draw it out. If that's a box, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 boxes, and in each box she put 7 shells. And listen to how I ask this question. How many times am I going to count 7? Well, there's 6 boxes, so I'm going to count 7 6 times. Hello, hello, hello. 6 times 7, right there. That would be the answer I would select, 6 times 7. Let's take a look at the next one. Which equation below is represented in the picture? Okay, looks like I've got maybe butterflies, lightning bugs. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll say lightning bugs. Got 5 lightning bugs in a jar, and I have a total of 4 jars. So how many times am I going to count 5? Well, I'm going to count 5 4 times because there's 4 jars. Do you see anything in your answers that looks like that? Maybe 4 times 5, because I'm going to count the 4 jars 5 times because there's 5 in each. Works for me. Let's move on to the next one. Number 3 says Liz has 4 boxes of crayons. Each box contains 8 crayons. Write an expression Liz could use to show the total number of crayons she has altogether. 4 boxes, 8 in a box. I could draw it. Nothing wrong with that. 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. And it says that there's 8 crayons in each box. So how many times am I going to count 8? I'm going to count 8 4 times because there's 4 of them. So if I use those words, that helps me know that I'm going to do 8 times 4, which is the exact same as 4 times 8. There's no difference there, right? Just as long as you know. That's the commutative property. You'll learn a little bit more about that later. So these are all multiplication, and interesting because it talks about equal groups multiplication up there. Okay, there are 6 more. I'm going to help you with 1 more of them, and then I might read the rest of them to you. So let's take a look. Which expression is represented by this array? So I'm looking for an expression that represents it. No, it wants us to write it. So looks like I have flip-flops. How am I going to count them using multiplication? Well, it's not like the ones up top where I had jars and fireflies and boxes and seashells and crayon boxes with crayons inside of them. Here it's just flip-flops, but I need to use multiplication somehow. Okay? Well, I do see a pattern in that I see that these flip-flops are in rows. So I do see 3 rows in there, which is nice. But I also see columns as well, if I can go up and down. And these are all even. There's no extra ones left over, so I have some in there. How many of those columns do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So I could say that I can take 3 columns, or excuse me, 3 rows times 6 columns. That's going to tell me how many flip-flops are in this array. 6 times 3 is 18. And of course, yes, I could just count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 18, but it says which expression is represented by this array. Well, this is the expression that represents the 18 flip-flops that are here. All right, let's keep going. Dan has 8 pages of baseball cards. There are 8 cards on each page. How many cards does Dan have in all? Write a number sentence to solve the problem. A number sentence. Okay? 8 pages, 8 cards on a page. A number sentence to solve the problem is going to be trying to figure out how to put into words 8 pages with 8 cards in each. Okay? So that's our equation, but your number sentence, you're going to have to spell out 8 times 8 equals 64 cards. So you're going to want to write that in words. And I'll start it here for you. Like I could write 8 times 8. And I'm going to let you finish the rest of it, okay? Pause this video, finish this one, and then move on to number 6. Alyssa makes 3 bracelets. Each bracelet has 9 beads. 9 beads in one bracelet, but she made 3 of them. So she uses 3 times 9 to find the total number of beads. That's correct. Her friend puts 1 more bead on each bracelet Alyssa makes. What new multiplication fact can be used to find the total number of beads they used? So we changed this here, okay? The original one said 3 times 9, but her friend puts 1 more bead on each bracelet. Now, we're not increasing the number of bracelets. There's still 3 bracelets. We're just increasing the number of beads on each bracelet. And if you remember, we said there was 9 on a bracelet. Well, if I add 1 more to 9, I can write that over here. There's my 9 plus 1. Well, that would give me 10 beads per bracelet. So this 9 would have to change. So what new math fact could we use? Well, instead of doing 3 times 9, we're going to do 3 times what? 3 times 10. And that is going to give us our 30 beads that Alyssa needs to make her bracelets. All righty. I'm going to let you do 7, 8, 9. And just to make sure we're on the same page, this says, Mrs. Smith baked 3 batches of cookies. Each batch had 12 cookies. So we're trying to figure out which one of these expressions would give us the right answer. 3 batches of cookies, 12 in a batch. So how many times am I going to count 12? I'm going to count it 3 times. Okay, and I'll let you choose the correct answer for number 7. Pause this video. Number 8 says, draw an array to match the word problem below. If you remember, an array looks like this, where you have rows and boxes that all have consistent numbers in them. Like you'll notice that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of the rows have 6. All of the columns have 3. If I were to remove any of those, it wouldn't be an array anymore, right? So this says Holly has 3 boxes of popsicles, and each box has 5 popsicles in it. So when you're drawing that, you can think of it as basically, if you wanted to draw popsicles, you could, and you could draw 5 in each row. Those are not good drawings, but and then you could just draw 3 rows of 5, right? Because we said there are 3 boxes. So maybe that is represented by our 3 rows, and each box has 5 popsicles, and that would be our columns because I have 5 columns, okay? And then you can finish your multiplication problem there, okay? I don't want to help you too much with that one, so I'll let you solve that. And then it talks about another way to find the total number of ladybug legs, and it looks like there are 6 legs to each ladybug, and there are 4 ladybugs, right? So instead of adding 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, we could do it with a multiplication problem. I'll let you find that one on your own. The first thing I do is always the same. I pick up my pencil and I write my name. So if you haven't written your name on that page, even if you wrote your name on the other side, it's okay to write your name twice. Now, we were doing multiplication on the last page. We're going to do division on this one. Now, remember, when we're dividing, we are splitting a large group into smaller groups, but they're equal, okay? So it says, which equation is shown by the picture? So I've got a picture. It looks like I have one group of 4 B's, and then I have another group of 4 B's. So I have 2 groups all together, and each one has equal numbers in it. So I must have divided something. One thing I need you to be aware of is the first number. Okay, if I'm looking here, these are all the first numbers here. When we're talking division, and we're splitting up a large group, that first number has to be the biggest. As you get older, you'll find other ways of dividing, but for right now, you do want that first number to be larger. Okay, and so far all of these are okay because it's either a larger first number or an equal first number, and those are all okay. So here's my question. How many B's are there altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it looks like we have 8. And then we're going to divide them into groups of what? Well, we're going to divide them into groups of 4. So if I wanted to put 4 B's in a group, there would be 2 groups left. Okay? Or if I said I want to take my 8 B's and divide them into 2 groups, I would also get a 4 because there would be 4 in each group. So either of these would be completely fine. Mrs. Richardson has $15 to divide equally between his 3 children. Which equation could Mr. Richards use to find out how much money each of his children should receive? Now, we need to use division because this is a division page. So really we only have one option, but we can also think of it this way. We have $15. We're going to divide it equally. So here's my divide sign between his 3 children. So that means there are 3 children. We need to figure out how much each kid is going to get. So if I had this kid here, let me see if I can get this to right. So if I had that kid, and then I have this kid, and then I have this kid, and I give them all $1. You get $1, you get $1, you get $1. And I keep doing that until I use all $15. I just gave every kid $5. And that would be my 15. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. That has to be my answer. Amanda has a bag of 32 popsicles to give out at her pool party. There are 7 girls at her party. If she divides the popsicles between all the girls, including herself, key words there, how many popsicles will each girl get? So they're all going to have a tummy ache for sure. But we have 32 that we're going to give out. And we need to divide it evenly among all the people that are there. 7 girls and Amanda. So that means 7 plus 1 is 8. So that means we're going to divide it by 8 people to figure out how many popsicles they are all going to get. So another way to think of that would be I could say 8 times what number equals 32? And if you know your math facts, we know that 8 times 4 is 32, which means that 32 divided by 8 is 4. So it's kind of like flip-flopping a math fact, because you can switch division and multiplication to get the same answers. On number 4, it says Addison read 45 books over the summer. Wow, that's a lot of books. She sorts her books into 5 equal groups. How many books does she put in each group? Do not spend all of your time doing this manually and making 5 groups and then giving each group 1 book. Because if I do this and I give each group 1 and then I give each group another one until I get to 45, that's going to take me a long time. What we want to do is divide those 45 books. So we're dividing the 45 into 5 equal groups. That's going to tell us the answer of how many books are in each group. The other way I could do it is I could flip-flop it. I could put that number at the front and I could say 5 times what number equals 45? Well, 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. And if I keep going down there, we know that 5 times 9, sorry, I forgot where to write that. 9 is 45, which means that 45 divided by 5 is 9. And you could do this thing all day long until you get 9 in each group. But trust me, your multiplication facts, if you reverse it into a division problem, are always going to be the same. You're going to use the same numbers. 45 divided by 5 is 9, because 9 times 5 is 45. If you flip a division problem into a multiplication problem, you can check your work every single time. Number 5, Dan buys 6 packs of gum with 5 pieces in each pack. He shares the gum evenly among himself and 5 friends. Himself and 5 friends. That sounds like 6 people. Write an equation to show how many pieces of gum will each friend receive. This is a multi-step problem, because first we need to know how many pieces of gum there are in total. 6 packs of gum, 5 in a pack. How many sticks of gum is that altogether? Well, that would be 6 packs times 5 in a pack gives us 30 packs of gum. What we do at this point is then figure out how to share these 30 pieces of gum with Dan and 5 friends. Well, Dan and 5 friends is 6 people. So I'm going to take my 30 pieces of gum. I'm going to divide it among those 6 people to figure out how many each is going to get. Once again, if I flip this around and I put my 30 over here and I put my 6 on the other side, 6 times what number is 30? Well, if I count by 6s, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 times 5 is 30, which means 30 divided by 6 is 5. Each person is going to get 5 sticks of gum. All right, 4 more here, and I'm going to set them up, but I'm going to let you solve these on your own, unless I see something very tricky. Julie drew the picture below to match an equation. Which equation matches Julie's picture? So I've got 3 flowers, 3 flowers, 3 flowers, and there's 3 groups. So what would I say? 3 times 3 equals 9? Well, that's a true fact, and there are 9 flowers, but this doesn't show them all in one group, does it? Am I taking 9 flowers and dividing them into 3 groups? That seems kind of good. Let's look at C. On C it says 9 minus 3 is 6. That's a good math fact, but this picture doesn't showing us getting rid of anything. So I'm going to say probably not to that. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Yeah, if I divide 27 into 3 equal groups, I get 9. But I don't see 27 flowers here being divided into 3 groups. So if I were to have to choose one of these, I would probably choose, well, actually, I'm going to let you solve that one on your own. On number 7, it says Leah bought 54 strawberries. She put the same number of strawberries into 9 baskets. So we're going to write an equation. So you have 54. It looks like you're going to put them equally into 9 baskets. So that would be division, and then I will let you solve that on your own. Remember that you can flip it by writing 9 times what is 54. On number 8, it says Nick has collected 60 rocks. He put an equal number of rocks into 5 boxes. How does Nick find the number of rocks in each box? 60. Put an equal number of rocks into 5 boxes, 60 divided by 5. Figure out which one of these is the best way to accomplish that. And last, number 9, it says, Abby makes 12 cupcakes for her 6 friends. She wants to know how many cupcakes each friend will get. You're going to take one expression, one of these, to help solve that question. I have 12 cupcakes to share with 6 friends. How do I evenly give the same number to each friend? There you go. Pause this if you need to, and when you're ready, you can move on to the next page. Here's a pretty quick page. Start by writing your name, please. I'm going to let you complete all of the math facts. Maybe I'll highlight them real quick, like number 1. These are just multiplication facts, 5, 6, and 9. The rest of them are division problems where they're missing either the first number or the second number. And as you look at those, if you want to rewrite them as multiplication, remember that big front number has to go on the other side of the equal sign, and then whatever the equal sign is has to go on to the other side so that you can figure out what your math fact is. The missing number for the multiplication problem is the missing number for the division problem. If the first number is missing, like on number 4, don't forget, that is the bigger number. This number has to go on the other side of the equal sign, and then the other 2 have to come to the left side. So that would be 3 times 7 equals whatever that missing number is. So this number here and this number here will be the same, okay? So you can use those 2, my little helpers for 2 and 4, to help you solve the other division problems. Otherwise, pause this video, finish this page, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, multiplying and dividing. Looks like there's a lot on this one, but you know what I'm going to do first. Bada boom. Okay, first thing I'd like you to do is to work on these math facts on 1 through 8, okay? So you can pause this video, do 1 through 8, and then when you're finished, I'll meet you here at number 9. Alrighty, here on number 9, 42 divided by 6, okay? How many 6s fit in 42 is the other way to read that. Or if you wanted to flip it around into a multiplication problem, we would say 6 times what number equals 42. And then whatever that math fact is going to be our answer. 24 divided by 4, same thing. 4 times what number equals 24. I just put that big number on the other side of the equal sign. Then after you solve your math fact, you have your answer, okay? Now that pattern is going to be the same for the next 3 problems. So I've set you up a little bit, next 4 problems. So as you go through there, use that pattern. 17, 18, 19, 20, we're just going to rewrite our multiplication and division problems. Here's my reminder. I don't want to give you too much information. If you're changing a multiplication problem into division, you're going to put that big number out front. Or if you're doing the opposite, like on 19 and 20, you're going to put the large number from the division problem as the answer of the multiplication problem. Okay, I don't want to give too much away. Then you have some word problems, like Mr. Nix has 8 grandchildren. He wants to give each grandchildren three books. How many total books does he need? So 8 children each need 3 books. So if you're going to give 8 3 times, well, that sounds like a multiplication problem. I'll let you solve that one. Okay, on 22, it says Lacey has 8 cookies. She and 3 friends share them equally. How many cookies did they each get? So that talks about sharing. Lacey has 8 cookies. She and 3 friends. So if you count Lacey as 1, technically there's 4 people sharing these 8 cookies. That sounds like a division problem to me. 23, Aaron's dance teacher wants to put 48 dancers into 6 groups. So if you're hearing groups, that sounds like division. How many students will be in each group? Make sure you solve the equation after you write it. 24, Randy had guitar lessons 7 times each month for 9 months. So it sounds like you're going to count 7 guitar lessons 9 different times. Ooh, I may have helped you out with that one. All right, then we have some math facts for the arrays that you see. I'm going to help you with the first one, just so you can see that you can do 2 multiplication and 2 division problems. So if I were to count the rows, it looks like I have 4 rows. And if I count the columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 5 columns. So it looks like I have 4 and 5. Okay. So if I were to do that, I could say, well, I have maybe 4 rows times my 5 columns. Well, that would give me 20. Or I could flip-flop those numbers and say 5 times 4 is 20. Oops. 20. And then if you remember, to turn it into division, we just move that bigger number to the very front. And then I could put any of the other numbers in. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Or I could say 20 divided by 4 is 5. I'm just basically flipping these 2 numbers around. You're still going to get the same answer no matter what. And I'll let you finish the rest of this page. Pause this video, and when you're ready, move on to the next one with me.